Imagine this secret potion would make you lose weight, and this secret potion would make you lose body fat. Which one would you choose? The answer to this question should be a no-brainer, but maybe you thought that weight loss and fat loss were the same thing? Well, let me ask you a question. Imagine you step on the scale and you see you're a kilo lighter. Do you ever ask yourself, what does the weight consist of? Or do you automatically assume that it's 100% fat mass? Back to the basics. When our bodies lose weight, this weight consists out of fat mass and fat-free mass, or in other words, our lean body mass. Simply said, lean body mass is all the other tissue that is not body fat, which includes muscle and water. Our lean body mass, of which in particular our muscle mass, is metabolically the most active tissue in our body. So in other words, it can influence how much we burn on a daily basis, and it's also the tissue that keeps our body firm, strong, lifted, and shaped. And that is why if you want to look toned and maintain a higher metabolism to get there and stay there, you want to do everything in your power to maintain this body's gold. Isn't it interesting that we are never discussing the importance of muscle, but mostly look for ways to lose weight as quickly as possible without even considering what that would do to our overall appearance, our strength, and our health in general? Before we move on to understanding how to make the body burn mostly body fat, let's recap the difference. Simply put, weight loss is mainly focusing on the number on the scale, while fat loss is focusing more on changes in body composition. However, both can result in a drop on the scale, but the difference lies in the ratio of body fat you lose to other tissues, and specifically muscle tissue. Now pay close attention. Imagine that the strategies for fat loss are in this potion, and that the strategies for weight loss are in the other. The key ingredient in this weight loss potion is a calorie deficit, or in other words, an energy deficit, which means consuming less energy than what you would burn, or burning more energy than what you consume through metabolizing our food, physical activity, heat production, and other factors. By creating a situation in which your body does not have enough energy, it will now need to burn its own body tissue as energy to sustain itself. This will result in weight loss, of which a part will be fat, but also other tissues like muscle and water. The bigger the calorie or energy deficit is, the faster your body will have to burn its tissue. So in other words, you'll lose weight faster, but you're risking that a huge chunk of that mass that you're losing is muscle mass. And that is not what you want if you want to have a toned, healthy, and strong physique. Did you know that if you lose too much muscle mass, your body will quite literally melt and hang, decrease your metabolism, and make you fragile and weaker? So choosing to understand what ingredients are in this fat loss potion will help you burn the most amount of body fat while keeping your body strong, firm, and lifted. And this is because the strategies for fat loss are focused on increasing metabolism and building, or at least maintaining, your muscle mass. By the way, did you know that a lot of people are making the mistake in thinking that a calorie or energy deficit is a diet? A calorie deficit, or in other words, an energy deficit, is not a specific diet. It's a specific state in which the body is in, which is the mechanism needed to make the body burn its own tissue, which will result in weight loss. A diet would be the method of choice to achieve this mechanism. And did you know all diets must follow this mechanism or else they won't work? Now that you know what ingredient is in the weight loss potion, you now want to learn what ingredients are in the fat loss potion, because this specific potion will help you see the most changes in body composition. So let's reveal what ingredients are in this fat loss potion. But before we dive in, if you're finding value in this video so far, then don't forget to like and subscribe to help me fuel my motivation to keep making more content like this. Back to the fat loss potion. The first ingredient is the same as in the weight loss potion, a calorie or energy deficit. Yes, you heard right. The key ingredient that both weight loss and fat loss have in common is a calorie or energy deficit. Again, this is a basic law all methods and so all diets need to have the body shed some tissue in general. So obviously, this is the main ingredient here too. However, this potion will make your weight loss come from mostly body fat. And for this to happen, you'll need another ingredient. Protein. Eating enough protein will help minimize muscle mass loss, since eating more protein will help spare your body's own muscle protein. And that is because if you eat enough protein, you're now getting enough protein in through your diet. So now the body will not have to use as much of its own muscle protein to create energy from. But did you know that another important benefit of protein for fat loss that research has shown is that protein has a higher thermic effect of food, especially when compared to carbohydrates and fats? This means that the body burns more calories while digesting protein as opposed to carbohydrates and fats. And the reason behind it is because protein is more difficult for the body to break down and requires more energy to do so. By eating more protein, you'll be able to slightly influence the calories you burn on a day-to-day basis while eating. Now that you know that eating more protein is a key ingredient if you want your body to shift to burning mostly body fat, you now want to know what the recommended amount of protein is to effectively achieve this goal. But before we dive into the answer to this question, you really need to understand another key for fat loss success, which is adherence. You could try to include all these tips to increase body fat loss, but if you can't adhere to it, nothing will happen. The best way to eat for fat loss is the diet that you can adhere to long term. Just keep this in mind. But again, if you want to create an environment in which your body burns mostly body fat while maintaining as much muscle mass as possible, then I would aim for at least 2 grams of protein per kg body weight. However, there is a group who I would not advise to use body weight as a tool to estimate how much protein you should be eating. And that is the group that is dealing with being overweight in the obese category. Use your desired body weight instead. Otherwise, your protein recommendation will be too high, unsustainable, and unnecessary, to be honest. Now that you know what the main difference is between weight loss and fat loss, and you know what strategy to use to aim for weight loss or fat loss, you now want to know how to create meals with fat loss specifically in mind. These are protein-rich meals that would fit in your daily calorie budget. If you want to know how to calculate your calories, then click here or go to my description box down below because I have a video explaining in detail how to do it. Now back to creating fat loss meals. For this, I've created example meal A. This is a veggie chili with black beans. The nutritional value of this meal is 478 calories and 15 grams of protein, 17 grams of carbs, and 13 grams of fats. And these are the ingredients I've used. As you can see, this meal contains 15 grams of protein. But if you, for example, have to eat 130 grams of protein daily, then having bigger meals with only 15 grams of protein will not really help you get there. Now let's rebuild this meal and double the protein while trying to stick to the same amount of calories. I've put the ingredients of this meal in a food logging app, which will reveal the total calories and protein it currently has and how it changes if I take something away or add a protein source. First, you want to find out what this meal is lacking. Obviously, we need to add some protein. You can add more protein to your diet by including higher quality protein sources such as chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, vegan meats made from soy, and vegan protein powder that is high in essential amino acids like this one. A simple way to add more protein to this meal specifically could be to add chicken or turkey, but if you want to keep this meal vegan, you can add some vegan mince, which you can find from sources like seitan or soy. Or you can opt for some crumbled tofu or try smoked tofu, super delicious. You could also add more beans, but keep in mind that you would need to add 300 grams of cooked weight beans to create a meal of around 30 grams of protein. Since this is a significant amount of legumes, it could lead to a bloated belly, so just keep this in mind. Adding protein sources will also add calories. Adding, for example, 70 grams of chicken or turkey breast will add 80 calories. Adding 100 grams of vegan lean soy mince will add around 110 calories, but this can differ per brand, so check the label. Adding 100 grams of seitan-based mince will add around 125 calories, but again, check the label. And adding 100 grams of tofu or smoked tofu will add around 125 calories. Adding 200 grams of black beans will add 230 calories. Since creating high-protein vegan meals is a little bit more difficult, let's keep this meal vegan so I can show you how. We're gonna use tofu for this example. If we add 100 grams of tofu, we're creating a meal with 620 calories and 30 grams of protein. Now, there's nothing wrong with this if it can fit within your calorie budget. Because remember, the total amount of calories is leading in both eating for weight loss or fat loss. If you eat more than what you need or exactly what you need, nothing will happen in terms of weight loss. For the sake of this video, we're going to stick to the same amount of calories so I can teach you how to do this. For this, we need to take something away. The amount of carbohydrates are a little bit on the higher side in this meal, so we could pull that down a bit to 40 grams of uncooked weight, which is about 75 grams of cooked weight rice. Now we have a meal of 550 calories. If we take the 5 mils olive oil away, which we used for cooking, this pulls it down, leaving us with 504 calories. I don't want to touch the vegetables since that is giving us the bulk and the fiber to keep us feeling full, so I'm going to take 10 grams away from the avocado. Now we have a beautifully well-balanced meal of around 484 calories, 30 grams of protein, 57 grams of carbohydrates, and 12 grams of fats. And this is the new ingredient list. Now, a problem you might run into is the overwhelming amount of information and conflicting advice around how to exercise for fat loss specifically. So click on the screen and I'm going to walk you through where to start and what to do specifically. Thank you for watching.